Clara and the Curious Case of the Missing Heart, Part 1. There once was a little girl named Clara. Her hair shone like sunshine, and her eyes sparkled like green jewels. Clara's world was a land of adventures. Every day held a new game to play. One sunny day, while playing pirates on her big, strong oak tree, Clara met a boy named Leo. He had a smile as warm as the summer sky and eyes as blue as forget-me-nots. They quickly became friends, sharing pirate stories and silly adventures. Every day they played together. They built forts that reached for the clouds, explored the park like brave explorers, and made their backyard the most exciting place ever. Whenever Clara saw Leo, her tummy would feel funny, like butterflies fluttering around. Her cheeks would turn pink too. This feeling was new and made her happy inside. Then, one beautiful afternoon, Leo gave Clara a pretty red rose. "I really like you, Clara," he said shyly. Clara smiled, her tummy doing happy flips again. "I think I like you too, Leo," she whispered back. From that day on, their games were filled with a special feeling called love. They learned that love made their hearts happy, made playing even more fun, and made them want to spend all their time together. But then, one morning, things changed. Clara woke up feeling gloomy. The sunshine seemed dimmer, and the birdsong sounded quiet. She couldn't explain it, but everything felt different. Reaching her favorite meeting spot under the oak tree, Clara found a crumpled note tucked under a branch. It was from Leo, written in his messy handwriting. He said he was so sorry, but he couldn't play that day. His parents were taking him to the big city for the whole day, but he promised to bring back something special for Mr. Grumbles, their stuffed bear friend. Clara reread the note, a sad feeling in her chest. A day without Leo felt like forever. She missed his laughter, his silly stories, and the happy flip-flops in her heart whenever they were together. The rest of the day seemed long and boring. Playing pirates with Captain Fluffy and Princess Patches wasn't the same without Leo. They looked at her with their button eyes, but their usual adventures felt empty. Suddenly, a bright idea popped into Clara's head. If Leo couldn't come to her, she would go on an adventure, to find him. With a determined look in her eyes, like a brave explorer, she gathered her things. She needed her magnifying glass for detective work, their well-worn map of the neighborhood. Remember the one they drew together? And a backpack filled with snacks for her journey. Clara set off, carefully looking at her map. According to their drawing, the city was marked by a giant red octopus with shopping bags for tentacles. Clara giggled. Their map might have been silly, but it held special memories for them both. Following the path they'd drawn, past Mrs. Henderson's lovely rose garden, the thorny sea monster, and Mr. Miller's grumpy dog, the one-eyed kraken, she finally reached the edge of town. The big city stretched before her, filled with tall buildings and busy streets. Clara felt a little scared, but the thought of seeing Leo's face again made her brave. She held onto the crumpled note, a reminder of their friendship and a promise kept.
Clara and the Curious Case of the Missing Heart, Part 2. Clara, feeling a tiny bit nervous but mostly excited, took a deep breath and stepped into the city. It was a whole new world compared to her quiet neighborhood. Cars whizzed past, people hurried everywhere, and the tall buildings seemed to touch the sky. She held her map tightly, searching for familiar landmarks. Soon she spotted Mrs. Henderson's bakery, with its delicious smell of cookies wafting out the window. That meant she was on the right track. Suddenly, a friendly voice startled her. "Hello there, little one, lost in the big city?" Clara looked up to see a kind-looking woman with a warm smile. She explained she was looking for her friend Leo, who was supposed to be somewhere in the city with his parents. The woman, whose name was Miss Daisy, listened patiently. She said, tapping her chin thoughtfully. "Maybe I can help. Your friend mentioned anything special about where they might be going? Clara remembered Leo mentioning a big park with a funny-looking statue in the middle. Miss Daisy's eyes lit up. That sounds like Central Park. It's a lovely park, perfect for a family outing. With a map drawn on a napkin and a big smile, Miss Daisy sent Clara on her way. The journey continued, with Clara using her detective skills to navigate the city. She asked friendly shopkeepers for directions and even used her magnifying glass to examine street signs, though they were mostly too big for her little tool. Finally, after a long but exciting adventure, Clara reached Central Park. It was even bigger than she imagined, with sprawling lawns, a sparkling lake, and people playing everywhere. But how would she ever find Leo in such a giant place? Just as doubt started creeping in, Clara spotted the funny-looking statue Miss Daisy mentioned. It was a giant metal bird with outstretched wings, and right below it, sitting on a bench, was Leo. He looked surprised when he saw Clara, but then a big smile spread across his face. "Clara, what are you doing here?" he exclaimed. Clara, a little out of breath from her journey, explained how she missed him and wanted to find him. Leo's parents, sitting next to him, were impressed by Clara's bravery and determination. They all spent the rest of the day exploring the park together, Leo showing Clara his favorite hidden spots and introducing her to his parents. In the end, even though they hadn't planned it, they had a wonderful adventure together, all thanks to Clara's big heart and brave spirit. As the sun began to set, painting the sky with fiery oranges and pinks, Clara knew it was time to head home. Saying goodbye to Leo and his parents, a pang of sadness hit her. They had such a fun day, and she didn't want it to end. Noticing Clara's frown, Leo's mom knelt down and gave her a hug. "Why don't you and Leo come visit us again soon?" she suggested. "We live just outside the city, and we have a big backyard perfect for pirate adventures." Leo's eyes lit up. "That sounds awesome, Mom!" he exclaimed. He then turned to Clara with a hopeful smile. "Would you like to come, Clara?" Clara's heart did a happy flip-flop. "Yes, please," she said, beaming. The journey back home wasn't as scary anymore. Leo and his dad walked with Clara, pointing out interesting things along the way. They even stopped for some delicious ice cream, making the trip extra enjoyable. Reaching her neighborhood, Clara felt a wave of relief wash over her. But more than that, she felt excited. She had faced a big challenge by going into the city alone, and she had even made a new friend in Miss Daisy. Most importantly, she had learned that love and friendship could make you brave, even when things were scary. And now, she had even more adventures to look forward to with Leo, both in her own backyard and in their newfound playground, the big city park. Epilogue. The next few weeks flew by in a flurry of excitement. Clara and Leo made plans for their next big adventure, eagerly awaiting their visit to Leo's house outside the city. One sunny afternoon, Clara's doorbell rang. Opening the door, she found Leo and his parents standing there, all smiles. They were ready for their pirate adventure in Leo's backyard. Clara grabbed Captain Fluffy and Princess Patches, and together they all piled into Leo's family car. The drive was filled with laughter and silly songs. Finally, they arrived at Leo's house. His backyard was even bigger than Clara imagined, with a towering oak tree that looked perfect for a pirate lookout. Leo's dad helped them build a magnificent fort out of branches and leaves. Clara, remembering her experience in the city, even brought along some old bed sheets to create a secret spyglass for their pirate ship, a giant swing set. The afternoon was filled with imaginative adventures. They battled fierce sea monsters, the garden hose, unearthed buried treasure, shiny pebbles, and explored uncharted territories, a hidden corner of the backyard filled with tall sunflowers. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the grass, They all sat down for a delicious picnic prepared by Leo's mom. Their bellies full and hearts happy, they knew this was just the beginning of many more exciting adventures together.